Hello VC, Mark here. Welcome to Recent Vinyl Finds number 65, Jazz Edition. I picked up a few nice titles from my local shops over the last month and a half. I'm going to start out with this classic from 1964. It's by Dolphy, Out to Lunch. I paid $34.98 for this album. This is a Van Gelder cut. It's a Liberty pressing on the black and blue label. Sounds fantastic. Really clean. The sound is excellent. I don't have the means to purchase an original copy of this album, nor do I think I could find one in this condition. I do have the recent reissue that was put out by Blue Note Records, I think part of their classic series, and that sounds very good as well. But it is important to me to have the earliest pressing of a release that I can either find or afford, and this fits the bill. Just an incredible record. The music on this, it's free, but it's focused. I think it's more palatable than, let's say, an Ornette Coleman album. There are wide leaps in the melody, but again, the music is still very focused. It's hard bop. It's just excellent. It's a classic album. All of the songs were composed by Eric Dolphy. You have a very young Tony Williams on drums. I believe he was 18. Just a genius right out of the gate. Bobby Hutcherson on vibes. He was just pushing that instrument to its very limit. He was very creative. He was playing not just on the vibes, but on the brackets, on the middle brackets, creating different timbres. You have Freddie Hubbard on trumpet. I love this album. Highly recommend this one. So this has a little cutout. You can see that, and that doesn't bother me in the least. Mark being Mark put this on the side of his chair, got up to get something to drink, came back, nailed the album with my foot, so I bent the corner. Really upset about that. Such a nice cover. Not to sound juvenile, but I almost want to trade it in and wait for another one to show up. But I'm going to keep this one. Who knows what'll come into the shop. The next one is fantastic. It's a Herbie Hancock album from 1980. Of course, jazz, fusion, little rock. Mr. Hands. Fantastic. This album keeps going up in value. I paid $17.98. That's probably, say, between $6 and $10 below what it's been selling for. This is in near mint condition. The bass line on Just Around the Corner is worth the price of admission alone. Terribly funky track. And then you have 4 a.m. You have Jaco Pastorius on bass. Very inventive bass lines. A very young Sheila E. plays on this album. Tony Williams is on this album again. It's just excellent. Calypso is a fantastic track. Herbie has his arsenal of analog synths. Rhodes piano. I think it's ARP 2600. Fantastic. Highly recommend this album. This was quite the find. This is by Lee Morgan, the Rump Roller. Again, I paid $34.98 for this album. The cover is pristine. Again, it has that little cutout, but again, that doesn't bother me. I did not destroy this jacket. This is the follow-up to the Sidewinder. That album it was just incredibly successful. Blue Note could not keep up with the demand. Lee Morgan brought in Andrew Hill again to compose the title track. Again, it's an expanded 24-bar blues figure. Very, very nice. You have Billy Higgins on drums, Ronnie Matthews piano, Joe Henderson on tenor sax. It's a phenomenal album. This is again on the Blue and Black label. Vinyl plays beautifully, sounds phenomenal. I don't have another pressing of this, so this is my golden copy. This is the one album that I did not buy at one of my local shops. I ordered the album from Amazon. I just got an amazing price on the album. This is Westside Story, Andre Previn and his pals. I do have the original pressing of this album. There are many instances where I don't feel that the reissue really sounds better than the original pressing. That is not the case with this album. This was part of the Contemporary Records Acoustic Sound Series. They did a phenomenal job with this release. It sounds fantastic. Beautiful sleeve. They always do a wonderful job replicating the label. It's one of my favorite productions to begin with. Excellent. Ooh, Donaldson. Pretty Things. Picked this one up for $21.98. Again, all these kind of have that cutout. So with Out to Lunch, I understand with that album, upon its original release, and then I'm assuming even with the reissue, that album was not flying off the shelves. Again, it's free jazz. It doesn't appeal to everyone, but I just love it. I'm crazy for that music. This album is just so-so. This is on the later label, and I think this is still a Liberty pressing. I think Blue picked some unusual titles to cover. There's Tennessee Waltz, not one of my favorite songs, but there's a funky little organ figure that's played throughout the song that kind of keeps it going along. Just for a Thrill, that's a Louis Armstrong composition, like that one as well. This is my one and only copy of this release, and it's definitely going to be my go-to. I don't need to go any further with this title. I paid $19.99 for this album. It is still sealed. It's the Dave Brubeck Octet. It's an original jazz classic from the initial releases from the 1980s. This collects some of Dave's earliest sessions from 1946 through 1950. There are 18 tracks on this album. Most of them clock in at around 2 minutes long. Say lots of traditional, some swing. Be interesting to hear Dave's playing at this early stage. I'm sure he's already discovering time signatures. He was a fan of polytonality, different his chord modulations. So this will be a nice listen. And the last one is by Bobby Hutcherson, Total Eclipse. And we are getting ready for a eclipse next month in Rochester, New York. It's going to be busy. We're anticipating probably 200,000 to 400,000 people. It's going to be crazy. I will definitely be working from home that day. That's really off point. This was $15.98. Should have expected this album a little bit more carefully. I was taken by the edition copy stamp on the back. I just love promotional copies. Again, this is a first pressing. I would say it's just in very good condition. Good thing is I'm not too crazy about the album, so this will suit me just fine. But you have Joe Chamber on drums, Chick Corea on piano, and he composed a piece called The Matrix, which is my favorite piece on the album. Who else is on here? Again, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes. So I guess I'm satisfied with the album. And that's it. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you soon.